So this isn't going to be a long call today. But they, myself and Kern were speaking. I was in Portsmouth, which is a city not far from London in the UK, on the weekend, and we were just speaking about what do we want, what do we see happening with some of the people that have the potential but are not succeeding yet. Okay, and it's because there's two different mindsets you can have. As you saw me post up the picture of that fixed mindset of you only do what you're comfortable doing. And then you have the growth mindset, which is where you do what makes you uncomfortable. You're always uncomfortable, and that's why you're always growing. Okay. And so for me, I looked at it and I said, one of the issues for people that are not succeeding yet is they have either they have an entitlement mindset versus having an empowered mindset. Okay. You know, and you will know if I'm talking to you or talking to someone that you may talking about someone you may know, is when they say things like they why does this always happen to me? Things never work out for me. They have the mindset that everybody owes them something. Okay. And I had that mindset. I had that mindset for many years of my life. And I'm going to explain something to you, because sometimes it's through your childhood or experiences that you've had when you're growing up why you have that, why people have the entitlement issue, and which is an issue. It's a mindset. Okay. Is I had a mindset when I was growing up, and only really switched until about 3 years ago, where because of the relationship that I had with my dad, where my father never really did what he should do as a father. Okay. I felt like the world owed me because of my father not doing what he should have done. So I was always waiting for handouts. I was always waiting for other people to be responsible for me. Okay. I wasn't being responsible for my own actions, the outcome and the results of my life at that point. And it's only when I started to empower myself through personal development and having a mentor that would tell me that you're being a sport brat, in words he would say to me, that I understood that I needed to take responsibility for my life. If I Because I didn't like the results I had at that point, it meant I had to take responsibility for those results. You can only empower yourself and only have an empowerment mindset and move into the empowerment when you decide that you are going to take responsibility for all the results that you have, not just financially, but emotionally, physically, around your health, your spiritual life, everything. You can only empower yourself when you take responsibility. See, the entitlement mindset is you don't take responsibility for the results that you have. It's always someone else's fault, and you always want to point the finger at somebody else. Okay. And I'm sharing with you from the point of view of I switched from pointing the finger at other people because I wasn't happy about my finances, but I would blame it on my father not being there and helping me out and not setting me up financially. And because he'd done well financially, I expected that he should have set me up. And because I had a chip on my shoulder, which meant that I everywhere I went, I thought I was entitled to more. So the entitlement mindset is when you do a little, but you expect a lot. That's where I was 3 to 4 years ago. You do the minimum, but expect the maximum. The empowered mindset is you're doing the maximum and you only expect the minimum. Everything else is a bonus. You see where you end up, and so I listen to Jim Rohn a lot. Jim, anybody know who Jim Rohn is? Before I start sharing, everybody know who he is, or people don't know who he is? No. Does everybody know who? I know you know, Alexandra. Okay. Does everybody know who Tony Robbins is? I know you know. Okay, Ken. So Jim Rohn was Tony Robbins' mentor. That was his first mentor. Okay. So I want to explain something to you, which is slightly off topic, but I want to explain something to you about why people don't use their own brain when it comes to thinking that they use the word like pyramid scheme, or they throw things out there and not understand what they're saying. Okay. Most people know who Tony Robbins is and they respect him for what he's achieved. But his mentor, Jim Rohn, was actually the highest paid income earner in Herbalife. He became successful because of network marketing. So next time somebody says something to you regarding that, I want you to understand the mindset. The empowered mindset is that you will go and find the correct knowledge. You will actually go and do research about people that succeed. The entitled mindset will go and find research about people that don't succeed. So now you don't have to take responsibility for your actions. You don't have to take responsibility for your results. The empowered mindset will go and find other people that are succeeding so they can find out what they did to succeed. The entitled will go and find people that are not succeeding so they can make the excuse of, well, that's why I'm not succeeding. Because now you don't have to take responsibility for the growth you didn't do. Is this making sense to everyone? Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
And so this is why I wanted to talk about this today, because I know I've been on both sides. I'm now on the empowered side because I understand that I am responsible for all areas of my life. If it's going to change, it's up to me. If it's going to be, it's up to me. That's the mindset I have. Okay. And so I'm going to go back to Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn has a philosophy. He says, don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. That's the empowered mindset to have. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Okay. And so if you live like that and that is your philosophy, you now have a different perspective on everything. If something's a challenge to you need to understand why is it a challenge to you, because you haven't grown enough yet for it not to be a challenge to you. So the goal is to be more empowered, take more responsibility for all of your results. You see, I understood. I listened to many different people. Another person I listened to is John C. Maxwell, one of the best people in the world when it comes to leadership. And one thing he said is when it comes to leadership, you're not only responsible for yourself, but you're responsible for everybody else as well. So let me explain to you my mindset. It means that if I do something wrong, I'm responsible for me. If something wrong happens within my organization or anybody that I work with, I will take responsibility for someone else. That's the empowered mindset to have. Okay. It's all about perception. Life is how you set your sail. Jim Rohn talks about being at sea, and the direction you go in is based on how you set the sail, right? Anybody been out on a ship or a boat? Yeah. And you only go in the direction that you set the sail. Yeah. So your philosophies of how you live, of how your philosophies you have in your life is the sail that you're setting for the direction your life will go in. So if you have the entitlement mindset, nothing will ever get better because it's always somebody else's fault. You're not taking responsibility. You have the empowered mindset where you're taking responsibility for not only you but other people around you. Start with you first. Start with you first. But other people around you, okay? You become more empowered. You become stronger mentally. You become independent. Okay. And I wanted to share that because this, most of you are in our community, one way, shape, or form. Let me give you an example. Entitled mindset is you expect everything to be sent directly to you. We put a message in the group chat, you don't read it, but you want it sent right directly to you. Empowered, you go find the message and you put it out if you don't see the message. Little things. It's the little things. I already know if someone's got an entitlement mindset or an empowered mindset because they will go and take responsibility immediately for everything in their business. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're doing that in the business, I already know in other areas of your life you don't take responsibility. Or you are taking responsibility. See, the person you are shows up in your business and the results you're getting. The person you are shows up in your trading. I promise you, when I changed from expecting everybody else to do something for me to taking responsibility, my results got better in my trading. Let me give you an example. And this might be harsh for some of you. I was entitled because I was letting David do all the studying, put all the hours into learning trading, and just go on his calls and press buy or press sell when he told me to, because I didn't want to take responsibility for my own trading knowledge. Yes, he helped me initially, but you have to make a decision at some point that you will become empowered and learn for yourself. I said, I'm not going to let him be in control of my results because I'm empowered. I'm going to go and learn myself. I'm going to make sure I learn myself. That makes sense? Okay. Now, I'm not talking to you if you're brand new and you're only just out learning trading, but I'm just giving you an example of the mindset that you have of entitlement, want everything just spoon fed to you. You want everything easy. You just want to invest. You want to invest, and I'm going to be real. You want to invest, just put your money into, for instance, NFTs, and you just want to get paid from that. But you don't want to grow your leadership skills by building the business. Because it's an entitlement thing. You don't want to grow because you're responsible for yourself. If you're growing, if it's your business, you're responsible for the results. I see people do this all the time. You know what? I'm just going to focus on the trading. I'm just going to put money into the NFTs. Those people never end up learning to trade properly because it's a habit. It's an entitlement habit of staying away from being responsible for results. Okay. So I treat everything as if I own it. I treat everything as if I own it. Let me give you an example. If let's say I'm going to do an event for let's say I can see Gloria's face. So let's say Gloria's going to do an event. Okay. I treat it as if it's my event. I want to know everything that's going on because I'm responsible for Gloria's results. Gloria, that makes sense. That didn't make sense, Gloria? No? Okay, let me explain it again.
Says why?
This is my mindset of empowerment. I'm not only responsible for my own results, but I'm responsible for the people around me. When you empower yourself, you then focus on empowering other people. So, like I said, if Gloria's going to do an event, Gloria's got something that she wants to succeed at. I'll take it on as if it's my own. I'll take ownership of it. Even if it's not
Because you're my mentor?
No, just because it's a mindset of empowerment. I make anything I'm involved in, I am mentally responsible for the results.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect anybody else to produce the results if I'm involved in it.
I got you.
Entitled, expect everybody else to produce the results, even though they're involved in it. Okay. I want you to have that shift to understand, take ownership, take responsibility. It's not just going to help you in this, in trading, in Boomerang. It's going to help you in your entire life for everything. Okay. I realized, and then I'm going to pass this over to Kern because I know Kern's got a lot to say about this. I realized a few years ago, I'm responsible for my dad being my father. For the results, how my dad treated me, I'm responsible for it. When I changed my mindset to him owing me to me owing him, when he didn't do his part, that empowered me. Is that making sense? Because now I've taken responsibility.
Does that mean that you had to do more in order to gain his?
No. So I didn't need to do anything to gain anything from him. I needed to take responsibility for my life and then show him the way I want to put it here.
Yeah,
I need to show him how to be a father. I took on that responsibility. It's not something that I just do in one area of my life. I do it in all areas of my life now. Okay. Guys, I'm just being real with you. This is not just about business to me. This is about growing people, empowering people. My goal is to be significant. I can't just be someone that made a lot of money. I need to know that I've impacted other people by how I've developed my own life and then been able to share it with other people that they can then empower their own life too. Okay. And so I'm going to pass it over to you, Kern, because I know you've got a lot to share about this, but I hope that you've taken something from that so far, because I know how much this will change your life when you start to take more responsibility for everything. Everything. It might be somebody else that influenced the impact of some result in your life. But if you take responsibility for it, even though somebody else may influence it, it empowers you more. Okay. So Ken, this is someone that I know, I've known, we talk about all the time, 6, 7 years now. No, maybe even longer. I'm going to say 8 years, close to 8 years now. And it's up to him whether he shares it. But I know there's areas of his life where the other person doesn't reciprocate the same energy, isn't as mature as him. And Kern, you know what I'm talking about. But he's taken responsibility, even though he knows the other person is not going to communicate and be as mature as he is. But he's taken responsibility. Taking responsibility also means controlling your own emotions when other things from outside potentially impact it. Becoming more emotional intelligent. Understanding if you react to something, that it's not someone else's fault. It's your own emotions. You're letting somebody have control of your own emotions if you react to it. The entitled person, something will happen, maybe it be a negative. They react to it, and they want to blame somebody else. The empowered person, they understand their emotions have been impacted. How can they grow from that point to change that? And so, Kern, I want you to put some 7s or some 8s in the chat for Kern, because I say that because I know that he lives by this. He applies it to his life, not just in business. It's not a coincidence that he's getting the results he's getting, because he applies it in every area of his life. Okay. So Kern, I'll pass it over to you, brother. And I've got my notepad and pen ready. Over to you, bro. You're on mute. It's not an Android thing. You're on mute this time. No problem. I'll let them just look at my pretty face until then.
Okay. So I've just tell me if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go for it.
Okay, excellent. So I've just got my phone as a backup, just in case, because I know the usual things happens every Monday. There's always a slight disruption from the Apple users on the Android devices when I'm here. So I've got a backup here. But guys, good to see everyone. Good to see the faces. I know we got a few minutes, so I'll make it very short. And hopefully everyone gets value from the call this evening. I missed the first part because, as you know, again, disruption happened, so it dropped. But as I start every call, and I know there are some new faces here, so welcome to the call as well. So as I start every call, everything that I share, I do not want anyone to accept it. I do not want anyone to reject it. And at the same time, I do not want anyone to neglect it. Okay? But I want you to receive the information. For the ladies on the call, try it on like a well-fitted dress. For the gents, try it on like a well-tailored suit. If it fits, keep it. If it doesn't, discard it, because we are all individuals. All right? So things will impact us differently, and things will work for us differently. Now, the topic of the call tonight, we know about empowerment versus entitlement. And my brother there, just before I start to share, I just want to show a lot of much appreciation, especially for the journey that he's been on personally, because as he shared, this is beyond business. We are here in a community to grow each other. And he shared some personal stuff that I know he didn't need to share, even a little bit on the surface there. And I know it took some time for him to get to that space to share that. So I just want to say openly how proud and inspired that I am to see the growth that he's had in himself, and that he's also sharing and impacting others to experience and have that same growth as well. So I'll also share my perspective and thoughts on this. I want to take a different spin so that you can understand on also a deeper and personal level what it is to mean, or the understanding around entitlement and the understanding around empowerment. Everyone here, including myself, I want you to understand it. It's not a bad word. Everyone is entitled. Every one of us is. But understand the difference. So let me just break down entitlement first, and I'll bring it around. So entitlement is the believing in oneself, okay? Believing oneself to be inherently deserving of certain privileges or special treatment. We all should have that belief that we want to be treated in a certain way. We want to have certain privileges. We all should have that. Empowerment is that authoritative, or I should say, that giving of power or delegation and authority to oneself as well. So let me break the differences down to you. let's take it from a position of education. When we learn something new, we receive new information, there's two things can happen. We can either just receive it and not act on it, or receive it and act on it. Okay? So information, or I should say education, without application is just information. Now, when we learn something or receive new information and we act on it, we now are empowered. When we share it as well with other people, we now help to empower them. In terms of, I'm just gonna put you on mute there, Gloria, just so that, there we go. So when it comes to entitlement, think of it this way. All the things, as I said, we all are entitled, but think of it this way. All the things that we believe that we want for ourselves, or all the things that we believe we are inherently deserving of, ask yourself the question: are you deserving, inherently deserving of how you treat yourself, or the things you do for yourself and the responsibilities you take for yourself as well, and the things that you do? Ask yourself that question. When you ask yourself that question, now think about the things that people are offering, giving, and how they treat you. And think to yourself, do I deserve what it is they are doing for me? If I'm not doing it for myself. There's an example someone raised in a talk I heard, and the person said they deserve the raise, but yet their actions for themselves was not in keeping with that raise. Their actions being doing all the things that they are responsible for, doing the things that they need to do in the right times. Remember, how you do anything is how you're going to do everything. Is all your actions aligning with the things that you are deserving of having? We are all entitled, but are our actions in alignment with everything that we know that we deserve to have? You will get rewarded even more times. So if the balance on those scales are equal, if what it is you're putting out matches what you deserve, you want to come back, you're entitled to what is coming back to you. Understand how universal laws work. When you think about entitlement, we know that, as the saying goes, you sow what you reap. Or I should say, you reap what you sow. But you also need to think you sow also what you reap. When Mr. Bonds explained about responsibility, think of responsibility like this. It's a word broken down into two parts. It is the ability to respond. Having the ability to respond, to take action, to reenact, to take whatever direction you choose to respond to an outside or external or even internal situation. Now, by having or choosing to be responsible, you're now empowering yourself. When we think about reaction, the opposing word to responsibility, think of it again in two words. The reaction, the action that you take because of something external happening. Think of Newton's laws in terms of a force acting on another force. It creates an opposing or equal reaction. So when things happen on an external basis, if we react instead of respond, the results that we are going to get is not going to be in the favor for us. It's not going to be in favor of us. Because we are reacting through emotion instead of taking responsibility to choose what action we want to take. So let me just bring it right back to the title again, empowerment versus entitlement. As I said to the start, we are all entitled to everything that we want, everything that we inherently deserve. But just ask yourself the questions. Is my thoughts, is my actions, is all the things that are encompassing of who I choose and want to be, and all the things that I inherently deserve for myself and believe that I want for myself, are those things in alignment with what's coming to me? So if you look at everything in your life right now, whether it be business, whether it be home, and Mr. Bond mentioned certain things that I choose to respond to. Me looking at it, even though I know sometimes there are certain things that are coming my way or not, I empower myself by taking responsibility for it. Because it is a brutal mirror in every moment to show me where I am aligned energetically, to show me how much I have grown or still have to grow as a person, to also show me the actions that I need to take, the actions that I need to refine in my life, the thinking that I need to also refine in my life, to now have things coming towards me in favor that I want, that I choose, that I inherently deserve. Because sometimes you may think to yourself, okay, well, these things happened to me, or this thing isn't happening for me, or this person is having more luck, or this thing is always working out in that person's favor. And every time we see things come into our life or not that we want or do not want, it is literally just a reflection, just a mirror in the present moment, not always, just in the present moment, to remind us what is probably happening on a very subconscious level, what is happening silently in the back of our minds, that we are attracting those things to us. That something that we may not be aware of, that we are not doing, or we are doing, is attracting those things to us, or keeping the things that we deserve away from us. So now it gives us the power. Now we can choose to empower ourselves to take different courses of action, to think differently so that we get different results. Or in most cases, some people choose to react and say, why am I not having these things? Why am I not getting these things? Why are these things happening to me? Every time you find yourself in a position where something like that happens, every time you find yourself in a position where you may not be getting the results you want, or things may be happening that you do not want, just take a moment, pause, ask yourself the question, what is the record, the silent record playing in the back of my mind that is causing these things to come into my life, or the lack of results to come into my life? What is the things that I need to work on to empower me to change that, so that now I can start on a consistent basis choosing a different course choosing a different direction, taking the ability to respond, taking the responsibility to empower myself so that now everything that I am entitled to comes to me. Because just like on the couple mindset calls ago, even Mr. Bond mentioned it, our birthright is abundance. Everything we want, we can have. I've got it on my phone here. I shared on our event here in Portsmouth, and some of the guys, they know everything I want is working out for me. Everything. It is always working out for me. This is a mantra I say every day. I see it every day because it's on my phone. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. Even when it may not seem that way. It's because I have taken responsibility. I have empowered myself to know that even if this thing isn't happening, I'm paying attention. Okay, it may not happen now. I know it will. Okay, this haven't happened as yet. What is it that is happening within myself that is keeping those things from coming to me? What is stopping those things that I am entitled to? The abundance that is coming to my life? What is the things that I'm saying to myself? All conditioned ways of thinking. What is the environment that is still subtly, the old environment that is still subtly in me that is slowing the progress of those things coming into my life? Let me pay attention to it. Let me see how I can change that. Let me see how I can empower myself to now receive everything that I am deserving of. Things are always working out for me. I hope this is making sense and I haven't lost anyone at all. But I'll just try to keep it as simple as possible so that each and every one of us get it. Okay, excellent. So I know Mr. Bunch shared something at the start of the call in terms of the choice of the topic, which I missed. But guys, I hope we did receive that. And as I said at the start, everything that I share, I don't want you all just to accept it, reject it, or neglect it, but receive it. Bits of it, if it resonates with you, keep it. If it does not, discard it. But the bits that does, as I shared in the talk, education without application is only information. So receive it, apply it consistently over a period of time, and see if it works for you. Pay a particular attention as much as you can and see if and how it works for you. So with that, I'll pass it back over to my brother, Mr. Bond. Guys, thank you for allowing me to share the space. And over to you, Mr. Bond.
Thank you, Kern, for sharing. Again, I've always taken pages and pages of notes from your wisdom. You know, this is years of Kern working on himself. This is years of Kern working on himself. What he shared with you, I know it's taken him years to understand that. And really understand it because he's been applying it so much that it's now part of him. Okay. But and we're gonna wrap this up shortly because we've got the team training with Mr. Hunt. But I know Gloria was asking the question, as in, what do I mean by taking responsibility for her? To give you an example, if with the team training call that Mr. Hunt is doing, I am personally responsible for myself and my team members being on that call. That's how I see it. I don't expect him, Mr. Hunt, to go and make sure that my team members are on the call. I'm personally responsible for it. I want to give you another example. This one is going to be a bit more relevant to you guys. And Kern knows what I'm talking about here. So there was an investment that I made about 2 years ago. Okay. Is it 2 years? AG? Maybe a year and a half.
Yeah,
about a year and a half. Okay. We were told we were going to our money was gonna forex in the space of no, maybe a year ago because it was just before the NFTs. So yeah,
Just over a year, just over a
yeah,
year now.
just over a year. So we were told them we're gonna forex our investment in the space of 6 weeks. Okay. And we were told that we're going to get constant communication about the investment, what is happening with the project. We paid the money for our tokens, and nothing went to plan. The person that was behind the project ended up going well, I don't want to give you all the details, but the project launched. We were told it was going to forex, and it basically we basically lost all of our money from that token. It went from being worth, I think it was like $4 per token. We had a few thousand to being worth around 10 cents per token. So we lost all our money. Pretty much. We were told that we would get a refund within all the money was being held, so we would get a refund if it didn't go to hand. It didn't go to the way it was supposed to be within the space of 2 to 3 months. Okay. A year later, we haven't received a refund. But I want you to guess how me and Kern responded to that situation. Because of who we are. We didn't cry about it. We had people that we know who invested in the project was crying about it because they have the entitlement issue. The entitlement mindset. You were supposed to make me rich. You were supposed to make me money. Me and Kern said, well, what are we responsible for? That didn't work out. Okay, well, we have other projects we can work on that we are responsible for. So let's go and make the money there that we didn't make here. Both of our incomes grew substantially from that point because we focused on what we could control. Is that making sense to everyone? Because I want you to really think like an entrepreneur, not like a baby. Babies are entitled. Adults, we are not entitled to anything. In the sense that my sense of the way I'm saying it, not the way Kern said it. I understand the way Kern said it as well, right? Like I said, if it's going to be, it's up to me. If I might invest my money somewhere, I don't expect somebody else to make me rich. I'm responsible for making me rich. I'm responsible for making me healthy. I pay my personal trainer, but I'm responsible for becoming healthy and becoming fit, not my personal trainer. My emotions, if I'm emotionally triggered by something, I am responsible for my emotions, not the person that triggered me. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah. That's the outlook you have to have in life if you want to be empowered. If you know, this is the one that I hear the most. Well, this person doesn't make me happy. That is the mindset of somebody entitled. You expecting somebody else to make you happy. You are responsible for your own happiness. I am responsible for my own happiness. Other people can enhance my happiness, but I am responsible for my happiness. Me. Okay. And I see Alexandra put, yeah. I can choose whether to stay with the person as a response. Yeah, that's a response. It's totally up to you. Okay. But it's I don't blame anybody else for the results in my life. When I was blaming my father for the results of me financially in my life, my finances weren't getting any better. The minute I stopped blaming him and I said it's my responsibility, my finances changed considerably. The minute I stopped saying to my family members, well, you called me this and you said this about me when I was young. So that's why I reacted that way. That's why I was angry. That's why I said this to you. That's why I said that to you. When I took responsibility for my own actions, that's when my relationships with my family members got better. I really want you to think about that because I want you to apply this to your life. Like Kern said, it's just information if you don't apply it. But I want you to apply it to your life. It will make you a better person. You will feel better about yourself. You will be more confident. You will be stronger mentally. You'll know that no matter what happens. You see, this is the challenge. When you blame other people for things in your life, now that everybody else is in control. So you're insecure because you're not responsible for the results in your life. So you become insecure. The minute you say, you know what, I'm responsible, you become secure. Because it doesn't matter what anybody else does, it's all down to you. Yeah, now you're accountable. But I really want you to understand that last bit that I just said. You are secure when you take responsibility for yourself, for everything. Now it doesn't matter what anybody else does because you're empowered. Okay. It doesn't matter about anybody else. You know, me and Miriam, we had a conversation earlier. I won't say all the details. And she was like, oh, well, this and this is not happening. And I said, it's okay. It's normal. Don't worry about it. Focus on you. Like Kern said, everything is energy. Everything is energy. Negative things are happening. I'm getting excited. Me and Alexandra, and Miriam, we had this conversation. They were like, why are you always it was a tough time. Last week, we had some challenges last week. And they're asking me, why are you smiling? Because I'm responsible for my own happiness. Not the circumstances. Internal is what I focus on, not external. It's all down to me. If it's going to be, it's up to me. Write that down. If it's going to be, it's up to me. It's not up to anybody else who brought you in regarding you being successful at trading, regarding you having a thriving business. It's not up to David. It's up to me. Kern's the same way. Many of the leaders are the same way. They don't look at the person who introduced them as it's up to them. No, it's up to me. There is no one else. This is my company. Because, like I said last week, if you're making £1 million a year trading, you want it to be up to somebody else. The £1 million, you seeing the £1 million being made in your trading account. but it was up to somebody else. So they're going to take 80% of that. Or would you rather it be up to you? Everything's up to you. Okay. And yes, Glorious, it's been recorded, so I will send this out. And the team training is just about to kick off. So we're gonna wrap this up here. But I really hope that you've taken something away from this. I know when Kern was sharing, I was writing and thinking, and sometimes when Kern talks, he just gets you into this deep meditation mindset that you're in. You're just meditating on some of the words and wisdom that he's sharing, right? And so take this away, go back and listen to the recording again, but apply it. Take responsibility. Before you say anything to anybody else, ask yourself, have I taken responsibility for what's just happened to me? Okay. Love you guys. I'll see you on the team training. I'll see you next week. We will be traveling. So I don't know if we will have the call on the Monday. It may be another day in the week. But we'll let you know, maybe Sunday next week. So we will let you know in the group chats. But love you all. I'll see you on the team training, and be empowered, guys. Love you. Take care. Bye-bye.